Hello, everyone. We're coming to you live from the shop at Shaw. We're featuring Jamie. Jamie, what's your last name?
Lynn.
Jamie Lynn from the shop at Shaw. They're sponsoring an amazing event for our foundation, the Whitlow Foundation, called the Shop at Shaw Equity Project. Amazing. Tell us a little bit more about that, Jamie.
So, as the Shop at Shaw, we tried to cultivate futures in the artistic field. So, we only hire artists and we try to make sure that we grow people's careers within that. And then I met Tina, and she was doing something similar within an artistic field. So, we decided to team up and support our local TC based philanthropy.
Cool. So Jamie spoke with Tina. Tina is my co-founder and partner in DC in Two Perspectives. This is our podcast. She couldn't be here today with us, so I'm flying solo for the first time. So how'd you guys think about opening up a business here in what historically is a African American community? What brought that on?
So I actually had been obsessed with the Shaw neighborhood for a really long time. And then my business partner and I were looking for locations, and he found this one. And it really spoke to me because I wanted to open something that kind of abolished labels. So we wanted to bring into our shop to be multicultural, to be all inclusive, and be very, very forward and tech forward.
How's the community received you guys?
You know, the community's been amazing. I worked in Logan Circle for 7 years, and it just didn't really ever come together as a community for me. And before we even opened here, the entire neighborhood was so welcoming.
Yeah, that's the thing. I grew up in this neighborhood. Most people don't know that. Just off of 7th and N. And we didn't know at that time what the community of Shaw was or the community of Bloomingdale was. And just recently, of course, I did a little research just to sharpen my skills when I'm talking to people to have a better understanding of what's going on. The neighborhood has changed, but it's changing for the better because of commerce. And most people are unfamiliar with understanding that it has to happen. And it doesn't matter the color of your skin or your gender. It's about the business of what you want to do because everybody wants the American dream.
It's fair.
Everybody wants to be a part of something or something creative that just burns in them, and that's part of what we do. Tell us a little bit more about Jamie and her style and the shop and how it infused the community.
It's a great question. So I mean, I was an artist. I am an artist. And I started my career before Instagram and all these social platforms that you could use to really grow yourself without having to do a lot of the labor behind it. So I used to sell my art on sidewalks in New York City. And when I moved to DC, I started doing hair more and trying to make my sole income from that. And I had to really work beyond hard to get my name out there and show my work, and I created it. And now my goal is to give back and teach other people how to do it and use all the new tools that are at our fingertips.
So how long has the shop been open?
The shop has been open just 2 years.
2 years. So 2 years to the day, you're looking at COVID-19. You're looking at Black Lives Matter, this movement that has long started some time ago, but was impacted by, of course, the killing of George Floyd. How has that impacted, those two things impacted the shop and the way you guys do business?
Well, that's another great question. I'll be honest with you. It's been devastating being a business owner at this time. Not only did you have something impacting the entire world, you had something impacting the United States, and really bringing to the forefront of what's going on in our country and making people realize what people face. I think personally, COVID's made business owners get creative. I think the Black Lives Matter movement has really taught people in larger companies to really look inward and show that they're not doing their job and that every little bit helps.
Yeah, when you think about being inclusive, we all look at we look at things from a different lens until it actually directly impacts us.
Correct.
In terms of moving forward, because there's no real end to when this will end, how are you guys pivoting? What kind of resources out there for shop owners and hairstylists and makeup artists and people who are scratching at the surface trying to figure out what to do? What resources do you know about that's out there?
I mean, I think the internet's a powerful tool. I think you can get into people's homes, and I think everyone's sitting and watching right now. I think people have more time than they've ever had in their life, or they have no time because of all the impacts on the world. I think the tools that I would use is the internet and think about how you can turn your company into something e-commerce or something that can be tangible and being safe.
In terms of partnerships, how did you and AC meet?
So AC and I met through my best friends. Then they grew up together in high school, and we were looking to do something very similar. And he kind of just let me take the reins, and we partnered up, and the rest is history.
Been amazing, amazing journey. 2 years, it's you're still birthing the baby,
This is fair, yeah.
and we're so grateful and thankful that you guys thought enough of us that you wanted to support us and, give notice to what we're doing. And what we want to be able to do is make sure that we do the same thing in kind, make sure that people know the Shop at Shaw and what you guys are doing and how you guys are impacting the community. In any way, give us one teachable message for young up and coming hairstylists or salon or entrepreneurs, anyone who wants to do what you're doing.
I think the number one thing within the artistic fields altogether, and you probably can resonate with this, is that you have to have support in all directions. It's not an easy career and a lot of times people look down upon it. So you need to make sure that it's what you want to do. You have to keep persevering, and you really, really have to get the support in every directions. And I think cultivating and having people like us that want people to grow in those fields is taking that journey with us and completing the tasks at hand.
How can people find you?
I'm all over the internet. I'm at Dyed Hair on Instagram and the Shop
Say
at
that
Shaw.
again.
At Dyed Hair on Instagram and the Shop at Shaw on Instagram.
So, Jamie, I want to thank you so much for excuse me, giving us your time and your patience and your understanding and your message to the community. To all the listeners out there, please look up Jamie at the Shop at Shaw and give her a holler and support what they're trying to do.
Yeah, so we have a paid internship that we do that's under me directly, which we're looking for somebody new. So anybody out there that is in the hair industry and looking to be a colorist, I am looking and hiring.
Thank you, Jamie, for giving us your time. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Chef Shawn Lightfoot from the Whitlow Foundation, DC in Two Perspectives. We're coming to you live from the Shop at Shaw, and they're hosting an event in honor of the foundation called the Shop at Shaw Equity Project. I'm here with one of the owners and founders of the Shop. You have another shop.
Yes, one in downtown Bethesda as well. Yep.
Yeah, AC. Talk a little bit more about that.
About the business?
Yes, about the business.
So I opened the flagship location in 2006. I had worked there for the previous 9 years, and so now I've been there, nearly 20 some years. So it's been a long a long time, and I've always been involved in the hair industry since I was about 18 years old. Um, I have a strong passion for it, and coming out of the strong passion for hair came a strong passion for business development, and then community outreach as well.
So what was your first experience at hair? How'd you actually get into it?
It's funny. So I'm a musician as well, and I was on tour in Europe for a long time, and I came back and I was looking for a job to do that would give me some leniency in terms of going away for a little while, coming back, and I was looking at all these jobs as a server in restaurants, and I really wasn't loving the idea of it. My girlfriend then, wife now, was a hair model. She was getting her hair done in a salon, and I just popped in to say hi to her. It was on the same block that I was checking out jobs. And I walked in there and I was like, wait, these people are like me. They're all being creative and social, and
Doing the thing.
yeah, and they look a little different than everybody else. And so I started talking to the lady, and she said, let me have you talk to my boss. And I literally started sweeping the floor there the next day.
Oh, cool.
And that was it. I've never worked in any other field since then.
It's amazing how we don't recognize opportunities because in our lens, it's not, it doesn't look like
Yep,
that.
absolutely.
And look at, what, 20 something years later.
Yeah, I had to walk in and have it put right in front of my face. Yep.
Tell us a bit more about the shop at Shaw.
So I started looking into a second location after having, about 13 years in the Bethesda location. And, I was looking all over DC. I wanted to be in DC. I grew up here, and I wanted to be more in the city. And I saw a couple places, and then this location popped up. And just with the environment here, the vibrancy, the way the kind of community was growing and coming together, it seemed like a perfect place, and it really has been. It's been great.
So I was speaking to Jamie earlier, so I'm going to ask you that same question in reference to understanding that you're bringing your business into what used to be a predominantly African-American community.
Absolutely.
How has that impacted your business and how you're approaching the community?
So, I think being how we are as people, we've been really, really welcomed by the community. Coming into the neighborhood, the whole business model was of inclusivity, and you can that echoes in our haircut pricing. We don't offer men's, women's, or women's haircuts. It's all based on your hair length. Short hair, long hair, medium hair, and the same for
I'm bald, so
yeah, it don't matter.
I
for
would
you.
probably get charged.
Yeah, exactly. You go free one. And so it's it started with that, and then we provide all kinds of hair services to all kinds of people. There is been a long ongoing thing of the different types of hair African Americans have versus white people versus Spanish people versus Jewish people, all these things, and it's just texture, and everyone can learn how to do everything. And while, one may be more in your wheelhouse, and certainly coming up as I did in the, early 90s, mid 90s, it was a different ballgame. You got taught one or the other. And it's not that way anymore, which I think is fantastic.
So here's an art question,
Sure.
because what you do is a craft. Relate that to the art of doing hair.
So, as a person, I am an artist. Whether it's working in my recording studio, did a lot of fine art I was a painter for a long time, and doing hair is an art form in the sense that you're creating something, using a different medium that people are going to look at, just like they would look at a painting or a sculpture. There's also
that hairstyle is a reflection of who the hairstylist was.
Absolutely. And, and sculpture is a big part of it too. You think about it, when you're doing a haircut, you are creating sculpture. You are building weight. You are taking out weight. You are creating lines. It's the same thing as having a lump of clay sitting on a wheel and trying to get that shape the way you want it.
Now, how old were you when you first started?
I was 18.
So at 18, and pretty much with the foundation, we deal with youth between 18 and 22. What would AC say to an 18-year-old who's trying to find his way? Maybe not in the hairstylist, but just find your way as being creative.
I would say be patient. Also be aggressive, and don't be afraid to try new things. You may say, I'm a great guitar player and I really want to do guitar. But if you're a great guitar player and you're really good at guitar, you probably love art of all kinds. And you also might not know it yet, but you might be a fantastic painter. You might be a fantastic sculptor. You might be a fantastic hairdresser.
All in your hands.
That's right. Yeah, totally. Experiment with things. Check things out. Don't be afraid of stuff. Get after it.
So we're looking at COVID-19.
Yep.
And we're looking at Black Lives Matter.
Yep.
With everything else that's going on, the media is just saturated.
Yep.
How has that impacted the shop?
I think
On both ends, because you actually, what's that, Montgomery County?
Yes.
You would look, the dynamics and the demographics are very different than
yes.
in D.C. So how is those two things impacted?
So, the demographic is very different. There's parts of Montgomery County that are more predominantly African-American. There are parts that are, Bethesda most certainly is not. I think the way that COVID-19 has affected the businesses predominantly has nothing to do with race or religion or anything like that. It's predominantly been in the fact that we're an industry that is based on not social distancing. There's only one business I could think of that is, less based on social distancing, and that's the bars and the nightclubs. So for us, it's made it very difficult to obviously conduct business as normal, which we fully support and understand.
Right.
The main concern here is keeping the community healthy. But yes, it has been a bit of a struggle, but we're moving in the right direction, and hopefully, things shake out pretty well for us here in the future.
Good. People who want to be an entrepreneur, you want to be a hairstylist, you want to start a business, or what's your message?
So, mine is a different kind of a story because it was a bit of an accident. I had shown the hard work and the, effort and drive that the previous owner of the salon that I now own in Bethesda saw, and he approached me about it. At the time, I was only 26 years old. I hadn't really thought about it yet. I was still touring, playing shows all over the country, doing my music. But I think that if you are a younger person and that's something that you want to get into, the best thing you can do is to get yourself into the arena by, tagging along, whether it's an internship, doing some free assisting work, whether it's in a chef's kitchen, at a hair salon like this, in an office, and really, not being afraid to ask questions, picking brains, people might say, hey, dude, back up. Mm-hmm. You're asking me too much, but you got to do it.
I was kicked out of many kitchens.
That's what I'm saying. See, so yeah, so that's I think the biggest thing you do is try to, get as much knowledge as you can out of every resource you can, and you might be a little bit of a pest, but it is what it is, and it's going to help you in the long run.
Right. I should have asked this question before the last question. There are a lot of resources out there. Something came across me with Paul Mitchell. Paul Mitchell has started a COVID-19 stimulus package that helps beauty salons.
Uh-huh.
And what they're doing is offering them product, not in the form of monetary, but product. What resources are out there that you know of for shops, for
hair salons?
For hair salons, for hairstylists.
So,
independent people.
So, yeah, so the biggest one, whether you're an independent contractor, renting a salon suite somewhere, or a owner of, multiple locations like myself, the counties and states have offered some pretty good relief packages in the form of funding for PPE,
Mm-hmm.
which is obviously, like I said before, in an industry like this, of the utmost importance. People that don't work in these kind of industries oftentimes don't see the bottom line, the actual cost of all this stuff.
Right.
Disposable masks aren't cheap. So there have been some really good grants that you can apply for that will provide you with money or actual PPE itself. The county in Maryland, Montgomery County, just launched a new one that you can purchase your stuff and be reimbursed.
Oh, okay.
I think for us, that kind of product at a time like this is not only imperative but much more important than shampoos and conditioners.
Gotcha. AC, it's been a pleasure. I met you guys through Tina, my co-founder and partner in DC and Two Perspectives, who couldn't be here today. And the energy that you and Jamie give, man, it's amazing. I really appreciate this. I'm glad we met because I know that there's more to do and there's more that we will do.
100%.
And I want to make sure that people know how to reach you guys and find you guys. So tell them how to reach you.
Okay, you can find us theshop@shaw.com. There's an email link in there, and that's always the best way to get us. And also, you can find us on social media as well. Send us a direct message, and we'll get back to you ASAP.
AC, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Shawn.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you, man.